right, what's up everybody? Sorry for the little video hiatus, but it's Rob Ferrari here. We're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is absolutely stunning. And we came rolling pretty strong this week. This is the end of Adventure Drive's 8007, and it was a great trip. We got the SVJ, Z06. These are the ones that are left after the transport picked up the other ones and other people drove home. ZR1, my 360, which conveniently just crossed 20,000 miles, which is what we're about to talk about. Shavam's GT3, one of my rental cars, MA50i, i8, Supra for David Patterson. Matt Farah has the Lamborghini Urus. And I'm going to tell you why Ferraris make much better road trip cars than Lamborghinis. And, well, other than the Urus, obviously. But you think of this car and you're not thinking, like, who would bring a 360? It'll probably break. Well, it doesn't. And this is like my fourth road trip with this car. Even after I bought it and just had it PPI'd, I did a road trip in this thing. And I've got a little over 8,000 miles from when I bought it to where we are now. And I'm proud to announce, just shy of this trip, I'm like, oh, let me do an oil change. I don't think I've done that yet. That is the only maintenance in 2 years I have done on this 360. Now, I'm not doing a victory lap because one time when something breaks and I have a big bill, I'm going to tell you, hey, there's a big bill. I have to pay $10,000 to fix something. But for 2 years, this car has given me zero issues whatsoever. Now, obviously, the only thing you're going to notice as a result of this road trip is the front bumper gets absolutely annihilated. There's bugs on there, but then there's rock chips as well. Oh, that was a good one. And this is why I do the $300 spray job on it. But now that I look at it, I sprayed this for 300 bucks, but there's not a lot of rock chips on the factory paint up here, and there's no clear bra on it. So maybe I won't do the quick parking lot job this time. I'll paint it properly and clear bra it. But let's look at some factory paint jobs and see how those took rocks. So you know what? I guess they all took rocks a heck of a lot better than me, and bugs. Lots of bugs. We're doing the world a favor here. Yeah. So I guess, you know what? I guess I'm the only one. I'm pretty much the lead car most of the time. And my car gets absolutely annihilated with rocks. I don't know why. But let me tell you some of the things that I've learned with this car that you need to do. The anxiety moments of owning a car like this. Now, I also... you just saw in the video that we had the challenge grill swapped out and we pulled the cats and put the test pipes in from FabSpeed. That did wonders as far as keeping engine temps down, keeping oil temps down, coolant temps down, which is awesome. The hottest my car got, I was lapping at Spokane International Raceway. The hottest it got was actually just creeping along in Yellowstone National Park because it doesn't have any airflow. But it still didn't even get that hot, but it was the hottest it got all trip. Let me show you the aftermath here of my... Now, this is one of the anxiety moments because these door handles stink. Now, I've done this before where... Let me fall in the car. I've done this before where I have shared with you the door handle sagas. I thought that had to be replaced. It did not. Where did I put the key? This is the alarm going off, by the way, right? Everybody knows I'm trying to steal the car. There's the key. So the alarm's off now. That's good. Good to start. See that? You think something's not right. That is the throttle body learning itself again. Then all of a sudden it'll ramp up. There we go. We're in business. So the radio is something I fixed on this car, obviously. And this thing, just maybe because it's my Chinese radio, does not support charging. So the only thing you have is this, and that's terrible. Virtually every single, and these are problems that you can't fix. Virtually every single 360 that I've been in, right, has had these, and the adapters, they always pop out. So you always, like, you think you're charging and you're not. This doesn't charge, so my solution to that is a brick. And I just tuck it right between the seat. I got 3 charging ports. I could charge it in my hotel overnight, and it holds multiple devices all day long. Problem solved. Other problems that you have, or other issues that you have that are just never going to be fixed, is the use of the air conditioning controls. Like, you try to switch it from heat to AC, and it's always like it's sending a letter to the car to be like, hey, by the way, you want to fix this, or you want to change the temperature. And my buttons are starting to get stickier now. That's unfortunate. This one's nice, this one's not. But this thing blows really cold. It doesn't have that fine tuning that you get on most new cars, or newer cars. But that's just something that's always sort of anxiety producing to me. The radio actually did very well. My speaker grill, I gotta put it back in. That was the only thing I didn't really get around to. This thing keeps flopping down, but I've given up on that. And probably the single most anxiety-inducing moment in a Ferrari is putting the top down, because you just don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to get stuck. And I'm going to give that a go right now. It's been flawless this week. And I shouldn't do this, right? Because, like, if it breaks, then it's going on an open carrier, just nothing good happens. That's got it. Booyah. There you go. All right, so now we're good. This car, I'm telling you, nothing. It popped a check engine light briefly because of the cat deletes. But other than that, this thing has been spectacular. Great purchase, very happy with it. The dash leather's still good, very dusty. Obviously the car's got bottles of water, and got some sweet tarts down there. There's another bottle of water back there. But otherwise it's held up remarkably well. 2,000 miles of driving, 1 pullover. We'll get to that in tomorrow's video. But it was a good pullover. The car gets excellent range, right? See, we're at 20,202 miles, so 2022. And it's got 374 miles on the tank thus far. And it's still got a quarter of a tank. Now that's the other anxiety producing moment, because the tank is not accurate, right? There is no way for you to know, like, you just get an idea of how much range you have in your tank, and you never let it get to that blinking E. It's a huge tank, which is awesome, but the 27-gallon tank, when you start running low on it, like if you drive it in frequently, I'm like, yeah, I filled it up like 3 months ago, but I only drive it in, you could run out of gas. That sucks. Because it'll go from like 2 bars to like, oh, you're out of fuel, you're out of fuel, you're out of fuel, when you may not be. It's just that lower level stinks. The fuel tank in this car as well is another thing that's sort of not fixable, but trying to fill it up, you gotta flip. It's just, it spits a lot, right? So you try to fill it up with, like, if you just give it to a normal guy to go put the handle in, pull the trigger and walk away, odds are it's not gonna fill your tank. You'll end up thinking you're full when you're not full. 27 gallons is where it's at. But we did spectacularly with this trip. I'm doing a little bit of a humble brag on this car because this is a good one. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. I bought this with, 12,000 miles. It's now over 20,000 miles. Still factory clutch, still does very well. And the question is going to be, how far can I go on this factory clutch? And that's probably one of the worst things. Like any of these cars, even a manual car, if a guy doesn't know how to work it, that's life. This car takes a little bit of an effort. So watching these guys try to load it onto these transport trucks, they can eat the entire clutch in one go, and my car can sort of be disabled. And I was really concerned about that because the guy had to unload and then reload my car coming into Washington because his trailer was too long. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Because if you screw up that clutch, which it is going up that incline, the guy didn't even know how to do the paddle shifters or anything. If he screws that up, I'm going to be stuck with a car that doesn't move in Seattle for a road trip I was about to drive. So I'm happy to announce this thing did very well. I've got hairs all over it. The thing is filthy. It's ready for a bath, but it's going on an open transporter to get back. And these are the little quirks that I've done the workaround. We've got this. The gas you can't do anything about. The AC you can't really do anything about. The radio you can fix for 30 bucks. And aside from that, the car is pretty solid. The only other thing is I wish there was like an accurate way to know how much clutch life is left. You can run the computer through it, but it's not going to be entirely accurate. So fingers crossed that I can see, like, I know how to drive this car. I wonder how far I can go on it. Like, I wonder if I can get 30 or 40,000 miles out of a factory clutch. I start to get nervous. Like at the beginning of every trip, I'm like, with my rental cars, 10 to 12,000, maybe 15,000 miles on our 360s, then we're done. So here it's like, how far can the 360 clutch go? And I'm going to be the one to show you and let you find out. So I'm going to take that call. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. Sorry about the gap in videos. I'll see you tomorrow. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.